We know you're partnering there with Warid. They're the leader in the telecom industry in that area. But that telecom industry is still so in the infant stage. What opportunities lies there for you?
That's why we're attracted to that, is we don't want to be a Johnny-come-lately. We see the opportunities in Congo or in Central Africa. This is just the first of many to come. Is what's changed in the last few weeks or months is that we've got the undersea cable around Africa. We have companies starting to dig fiber optic cable across Africa.
We can't quite hear you at the moment, Pete, so they're just fixing that up. What I'm interested also in finding out, before you go back to answering the rest of that question, is Jasco has, you have the stages in the telecommunications chain. So you've got what they call the last mile, you've got the bit between the central distribution point and the home or the office and so on, going right to those cables. And I recall one of your executives giving a presentation on the cable capacity around the continent is set to mushroom, grow hugely in the next, few years, 2014, 2015, which apparently is an enormous opportunity for you.
Absolutely. I hope you can hear me now. But, you know, our constraint now is in continent, not outside continent. We have lots more capacity under the sea now, and it's now to drive the prices down and the capacity from, say, Johannesburg to Cape Town and Johannesburg to Brazzaville. Those are the issues. And we're anticipating that that's going to happen. That's a given. And if we do not exploit that, then we're losing the opportunity. You know, the rest of the world is looking at Africa as an opportunity, and we better do it, otherwise we're going to miss the boat.
Pete, now that network there is owned by Warid, and they've already expanded it quite well there in the Congo. They just need the services. Is that where you come in?
Absolutely. Look, I still see Congo as a VSAT or a satellite type for larger connectivity and international connectivity. Now that will change once fibers come in there, but people need to interconnect. Operators need to talk to operators. Corporates need to have access to data, and we have now the independent co-location center, which I think addresses all of that. You know, we mustn't forget Point Noir, big mining, big oil. Brazzaville and the rest of the country, big mining. So big opportunities there.
What kind of investment's required here? And I mean, have you had to borrow? What have the shareholders had to do? Anything? Because it sounds like it's a big project.
No, it will be a big project in the years to come. At the moment, it's in infancy, so it's an agreement with Warid. So very low investment, but the opportunities going front. As people come in and identify that they have fiber connectivity, will come into the service and take that up. I think it's, you know, it's a marriage made in heaven at this point in time.
In terms of skills, you've got to export them from here. You've got to find them there. You presumably would export a training capacity as well, because you've got long-term sustainability here.
If this was a multiple choice, it would be all of the above. But in essence, this is what Jasco is doing differently. We've been in Africa for many a year, but it's been opportunistic and project business. This is a sustainable business, Monday to Monday. So in other words, we're going to use ethnic people to drive that business. That's why we have Warid as a partner in Congo to use Congolese. I think that's the only sustainable way to do business.
All right, Pete, so that brings me to the other point that I want to ask. How many years are we looking at for shareholders before this actually has an impact on the bottom line?
I think it's nearly immediate. You know, we have other operators there. We have the likes of an MTN and all of these. As I said, you know, the oil companies they need to secure their data. They need to have fast access to their data. So once we deploy the fiber into the co-location and data center, the revenues will come. So it's not a long wait. This is not a 3 to 5 year. You know, I'm talking 12 months, 18 months, and we start seeing revenues coming in.
Have you had to beat the competition to get there, or is it a virgin territory?
Look, what we are finding in Africa, and this is a sad situation, is that we're seeing a lot of competition from mainland Europe, Asia, and less so from our own South African competitors. So I think that's a wake-up call to us South Africans to get in there. You know, the markets in Europe, as you've been talking all the evening, is down. So they're going to look at Africa with the GDP. It's from a low base, but the GDP growth is there, and the services are required. So we've got to be there, and we got to have sharpen our pencils and make sure that we know what's going on.
Just to understand your position in that market and competitors that might be a threat to you, and you being a neutral service provider in that area, is there any other companies that have already gone into the Congo specifically, or Central Africa as such, to provide such a neutral service that you are providing?
The emphasis is on neutrality. We would need, you know, there are there's a need for operators to interconnect with operators, but they don't like interconnecting at the other operator's data center because they don't want to open their books in terms of which customer and what traffic they're offering. So we offer that neutrality, and we do that for data centers as well. So they don't want to go to the competitor's data center. And also disaster recovery, we mustn't forget about that. As the country grows and the economy grows, there's a need to not just offer primary service, but also offer a secondary service for somebody else. So if there's another 2 or 3 data centers coming, we welcome them because there's the more the merrier.
Thanks, Pete. That was Pete Da Silva, CEO of Jasco Electronics.